One really useful thing to be able to do in Excel is make a decision about what value you want to go in a given cell. So depending on certain conditions, at one time you might want to put one value in a cell, and another time you might want to put a different value in the cell. In this example here, we're going to assume that we have some students that have taken a class, pass-fail. And these are their scores, and this is the minimum value required to pass the class. So if they have 70 or higher, then we want to put the letter P in here. If they do not have at least 70, then we want to put the letter F in here. Okay. The way you do that is using a logical function. We're going to be looking at our formulas up here. And logical functions are this little purple book with a question mark on it. And there aren't very many of them. The one we want is the if function. And the if function has three parts. It has a logical test, which is something that is true or false, and then the value we want to put in the cell if the logical test is true, or the value we want to put in the cell if the logical test is false. Okay. So what's our logical test in this case? Well, I want to find out if they passed or not. Well, they passed if their score is greater than or equal to the score up here in E2. Now I want to be able to copy this formula down to the other two students, and when I do, I want the B2 to change into a B3 and a B4, but this number up here, E2, is not moving. So I need to make that an absolute cell reference, and which means I need to put the dollar signs in. Now if that is true, that means the person passed, and therefore I want to put the value P in the cell. And if it's not, the person failed, and therefore I want to put the value F in the cell. Now notice I just typed the P and the F, but Excel put quotation marks around the P and the F for me. And the reason it did that is because if I don't have quotation marks around it, it thinks I'm talking about a function named P or a function named F, and there is no such thing. So if you're typing text in here, Excel is smart enough to put the quotation marks around it for you. If you're just typing the formula in on your own without using this function arguments box, you have to remember to put the quotation marks in yourself. So let's click on OK here. And because George's score is greater than or equal to 70, he passed. Now I'm going to copy this formula down to the next two cells. And John is greater than or equal to 70, so he passed. And Thomas is not greater than or equal to 70, so he did not pass, and the letter F appears in here. And the neat thing about this is that, like anything else in Excel, it automatically recalculates every time something changes. So if I change the required to pass value to 75 and hit the enter key, it automatically updates John's score here to indicate that he did not pass if the threshold is 75. Now I'm going to go here and delete what's there, and I'm going to go up here and enter this formula the other way just by typing it in. The logical test was B2 greater than or equal to E2, and I wanted dollar signs on that. And if that's true, they passed, and if it's not true, then they fail. Okay. And I get the exact same result that I did before. The only difference is I typed it in up here myself, and I had to remember to put the quotation marks in. Now I'm going to show you what happens. Let's go to this one right here. And I'm going to show you what happens if I don't put the quotation marks in and I hit the enter key. And it says name, and it doesn't know what I'm talking about. And if we go over here and look for help, it'll show the calculation steps, and we tell it to evaluate, and it had just evaluated the first part and figured out that it was true, and then it blows up on the second step here. So it'll give you a few hints about where it's going wrong if you've got a long formula like that. Let's close that, and let's undo that, and that's how the if function works. It's pretty simple. You just have to provide a logical test, value of true, value of false.